welcome back to the show. I am so glad that you're here with me today. If you've been struggling with depression or feeling down in this stage of life that we call perimenopause, this episode is for you. But I want you to know before I dig in that I truly, truly get it. For years, I dealt with depression, that deep, dark hole that you can't see a way out of, not wanting to get up in the morning, feeling alone, like there's something wrong with you, trying all the things healthy eating, exercising, supplements, therapy, and for some, medication, but still not finding relief and feeling frustrated and lost. So, today I want to walk you through some of the reasons behind depression, especially in midlife, and some steps to take to feel better because I have been there. And honestly, I believe I'm one of the best people to speak on this topic because I struggled so much and tried all the things. And eventually I was able to overcome it. It was not easy. It was not easy, but the dark cloud that used to loom over me is no longer there. And I so want that for you. All right, let's dive in. So, why does depression seem to hit so much harder in perimenopause? There's actually a number of physical reasons that contribute to those feelings of sadness, frustration, despair, hopelessness. And I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that hormones play a role. So, as estrogen, progesterone, and even testosterone start to fluctuate in perimenopause, your body is going to feel out of sync. You may experience a roller coaster of emotions. One day you're up, another day you're down. And let me tell you, this is not just in your head, and you're not crazy. These hormone imbalances have a profound impact on how we feel emotionally. Estrogen plays a role in your serotonin production. That is your feel good neurotransmitter. So when estrogen drops, so can your mood. And that was one part of my experience with depression because of my prolactinoma, which I'm going to give an update on one of these days, and being on hormonal birth control for years, my estrogen was tanked. All right, then there is progesterone, which is often referred to as the calming hormone. I did a whole episode on progesterone, so go back and listen to that. We had a lovely guest on. When progesterone decreases starting in your 30s, it can make you feel more anxious, irritable, and depressed. And this imbalance can create almost like a mental fog, and you just do not feel like yourself. But it's not just your hormones, as I often say. There are many pieces to the health puzzle, if you will. Another thing to consider is nutrient imbalances. They can make depression worse. For instance, magnesium, zinc, B vitamins, these are all vital for mood regulation. And if you're not getting enough of these from your diet, that's going to play a role. And guess what? Most of us are not getting enough of these nutrients, even if you're eating a healthy diet, because your body may be struggling to absorb them due to digestive issues that can further exacerbate how you feel. So, speaking of digestion, gut health plays a huge role in your mental health, which I'm sure you know by now if you're a health conscious person and you've been doing your own research. So, a disrupted gut microbiome, which is very common in perimenopause as our hormones shift. Remember, we have hormone receptors all over the body, so every organ is affected. So this can throw off your serotonin production, which is mostly made in your gut. I think it's about 95% that's made in your gut. And many of our clients, and maybe even yourself, have noticed digestive issues like bloating, constipation, or even changes in your appetite. And these are not separate issues, as conventional medicine would expect us to believe. They are all tied to how you feel emotionally. Our body systems work together, okay? It's why I studied functional and holistic health. There are root causes of disease. So, the other factors that can compound depression, particularly in perimenopause, is that perimenopause is a time of major life changes, right? If you have kids, they're getting older. Maybe they're leaving home. You're worried about them. You miss them. And your role as a mother or caregiver changes. And at the same time, you likely have aging parents that may need more of your time and attention, right? And this can cause a lot of stress, guilt, or even grief. Knowing your parents' health is declining and that they may not be around for much longer is really sad to reflect on. I saw my mom this weekend, and she said to my sister and I that she would like to get together with us at least once a month from now on. And it really hit me when she said it. Like, one, the fact that she even asked that, because my mom is not the type of person to ask for things. She hardly bothers me and my sister. She's very independent, does her own thing. She'll like text us, and ask how we're doing, but we don't get on the phone a lot, but she does miss us when she doesn't see us, and she doesn't want to be a burden on us. So her vocalizing that she wants to see us once a month was really big for her, and it moved me. It really did. And my sister and I just looked at each other like, of course, we would love to see you once a month. But I thought about it after, like, wow, how busy have I been that my mom has to like ask me, to like pencil her in, right? How busy I've been over the years. And to be honest, I've really put this business at the forefront because I'm passionate about it and I love helping others. But as I shared in the last episode, and I'll share more as time goes on, in the last year or so, I've really taken a step back. And it may not appear that way because I'm on video and I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing my master classes, and launching programs. But trust me, I have really taken a step back from where I was and how much I used to work. And a lot of that is because I want to prioritize more time with my family. And, honestly, I feel so much better for it because there is so much more to this life than career and business and making money and success. The other thing is, let's not forget the frustrations with your body and your health. If you've been struggling with weight gain, bloating, fatigue, poor sleep, brain fog, anxiety, it is so easy to feel like your body is betraying you. And that can really weigh on your mood. And it's even harder when this modern life is filled with stress, news updates, constant communication because of texting, group chat, social media, and the pressure to be everything to everyone. And women are the best at putting unrealistic expectations on themselves, myself included. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may notice this necklace that I'm wearing, and I recently treated myself to it. It's from a company called Mantra Band. They, I think, originally had these actual bands with mantras. They're actually really cute. I think I'm going to get one as well. But this necklace, really tiny print, says, "I am enough." Trust me, I need the reminder myself. Many of us, women especially, we think we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not successful enough, which of course can all stem from our upbringing, trauma, but also the pressure from society. And again, that can really affect our mood. So, another layer to the emotional struggles of perimenopause that I want to touch on is how unresolved trauma can resurface during this time. Holy moly, it really does. As we get older, we often become more introspective. At least I know I have been. The shifts in our hormones, the changes in our families, the overall life transitions really push us to reflect on the past. And sometimes this means that we start to see how unresolved trauma, emotional wounds, have been impacting our mental health all along. And not just our mental health, our belief system, our fears, our relationships, how we perceive ourselves. And, whether it's trauma from childhood or a difficult relationship or some past experiences, grief, whatever it is for you, we may find ourselves confronting these things in a much deeper way than before. You may notice I am getting more emotional when I talk, and maybe not because I really try to keep it together on the podcast, but I am much more emotional in this stage of life, and I am trying not to put judgment around it. And I have done a lot of self reflection, and I have dug deeper, thinking about the trauma that I endured, my childhood, my relationship with my father who has passed, my relationship with my mom who luckily is still alive, and I get to repair that relationship because we've had some bumps in the road. Okay. So the drop in estrogen and other hormones can really intensify these emotions, especially around certain memories. And it can make it harder to move past them. So, if you've been ignoring or suppressing emotions most of your life, like many of us do, because it's so damn uncomfortable and painful, and often it's trapped in our subconscious, we're not even aware of some of this. Perimenopause can bring them to the surface. And this can be incredibly overwhelming, but it also offers an opportunity for healing. Recognizing and addressing these old wounds, whether that is through therapy, journaling, meditation, maybe it's psychedelics, or other forms of self care. These can all help to lighten the emotional load. And then lastly, there's the whole career aspect, right? Many women in perimenopause begin to question their professional lives and whether they're truly fulfilled in their careers or their business. I've shared here how I have assessed my own business in the last year, and I've made quite a few shifts, and I'm still making them, and I'll share them along the way, of course. Maybe you're feeling a desire to slow down, take a step back, or even make a career change. Maybe you're thinking about starting something totally new or pursuing a passion that you keep putting on the back burner. Or maybe you just want to take a pause and stop working for a while. Obviously, that's not feasible for everyone, but maybe it is for you. And maybe that's going to give you the time and the space to really tap in and figure out what you want the next half of your life to look like. This inner conflict between wanting change and feeling uncertain about it can create a lot of emotional tension. But let me tell you, it's okay to try something new, something different, or simply change how you're currently doing things. Maybe it's deciding to work from home one day a week if your company allows that. Maybe it's working part-time instead of full-time. Or maybe it's staying home if you have young children for a year or two and cutting corners in regards to your expenses. You don't have to feel stuck, and it is never too late to explore new paths. I promise you. So, whether you want to scale back at your current career, or you want to start your own business, or follow a completely different direction, you do have the ability to rewrite this chapter of your life. All right, I want to give you some action steps to take. These are some things that you can do to start to help yourself feel better. First and foremost, what you eat matters. If you have not changed your diet to prioritize eating mostly whole foods, getting ample protein and ample fiber, please listen to episode number 18, the perimenopause diet I recommend. I give you some very specific guidance. Start implementing it and let me know how you do. All right, the second thing is you want to get moving. And I know when you are depressed or you're in just a really low state, you have little to no motivation. And of course, in perimenopause, many of us don't have much motivation because of the change in hormones. But I want to encourage you to walk. You do not need to do anything strenuous. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't have to do some structured workout or lift weights if you don't want to. Just get outside and move your body. You can do it. Even 10 minutes per day is a great place to start. And I say this because that is something that helped me greatly. Everything I'm sharing here has helped me greatly, but it's also something that my grandmother, who I love dearly, who we lost last year, would tell me all the time because a lot of family members have struggled with anxiety and depression. And that woman was one of the strongest women I have ever known. She had so much loss, devastation in her life, but she was active. She kept moving her body. And she got a lot of sunshine. So I take after her with that, with the whole sunshine addiction. All right, the next thing I want you to think about is hydration. How many of us are not drinking enough water? I've got my glass right here with my filtered water and my electrolytes. Electrolytes are something that we do need to replenish. So many of us just lose them with stress, with sweat. Um, so if you don't want to use electrolytes, that's fine. You can just put a pinch of sea salt in your water. That's going to support your minerals, okay? But if you do want to jazz up your water a little bit, like I do and like most of our clients do, I will link to some brands of the electrolytes that I like in the show notes. All right, the next thing I want you to think about is prioritizing your sleep. Now, I know this is a hard habit to break because so many of us have bad habits at night where we're watching TV, we're scrolling our phones, we're staying up for one more episode or whatever. We have a lot of lights on in our home. That's going to cause your stress hormone cortisol to stay elevated. So you're kind of in this constant state of fight or flight, and that is not going to help your mood. So please give yourself time to unwind at night without electronics if you are not sleeping well, to make sure that that you get into a good routine. I know that there's some people out there who are like, "Oh, I can watch TV at night and I sleep just fine." Great, that's wonderful for them. But if you're not that person, if you're not able to fall asleep, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, you need to button up your habits, okay? Just start somewhere, start to implement something relaxing to get your body into a calm state. I do have 2 episodes for you to listen to if sleep is an issue for you. Go back to episode number 10 and episode number 24, where we had a special sleep expert as a guest. All right, number 5, I want you to connect with others. I know this is kind of an obvious one, but when you are depressed, and I know because I've been there, you often want to isolate yourself and you don't want to be vulnerable or share your struggles with other people. And that is not a good thing. All right. Please don't feel like you're a burden. Hopefully, you have at least one person in your life that you can confide in and lean on for support. We so need community as humans. And with all the online stuff and social media, we are more disconnected than ever. We do need to connect with others. And even if it is just a phone call or a Zoom call, make it happen, okay? Be okay with being vulnerable and sharing with others. And I assure you, you are not the only perimenopausal woman who is struggling right now. All right. Another thing is there are some supplements that can be helpful that I personally use and that we've guided clients to utilize. And those are 5-HTP, and that's going to support serotonin levels, which will improve mood and anxiety. Amino acids like tyrosine and tryptophan are really great. They are precursors to the neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, and they can help with motivation and mood. And then there's St. John's wort, and that has been used for centuries, I believe, to help alleviate symptoms of depression and has been shown to be very effective in many cases. There have been studies on it. And that helped me significantly, has also helped some of our clients. Now, when it comes to supplements, I've said this before and I will continue to say it. It really should be individualized. And please use caution if you're on any medication and you're considering any of these things. Talk to your healthcare provider to ensure that there are no contraindications because there can be. And you don't want things to backfire on you, all right? And please go back to episode 45, where I talked about supplements more in depth and why my team and I really prefer to test and do a deep dive into your individual health, your health history, your symptoms, your lifestyle, your diet, and all that stuff to give us information so that we can make really personalized supplement suggestions. Lastly, as you know, it is crucial to optimize your hormones. This is where progesterone, estrogen, and even testosterone come in. Optimizing these hormones through bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which you know I'm a fan of because I use it myself, I educate on it. These can really help stabilize your mood and make you feel like yourself again. When your hormones are optimized, the physical, emotional, and the mental fog can really start to lift. We've seen this with clients, and I've seen it myself. One of the biggest shifts that I felt when I started hormone replacement therapy was the depression that I had dealt with for most of my adult life lifted. It really did. All right. That was a pretty good starting point for you. There's obviously more layers to this. Depression is multifaceted. And I can't get to all of it in one podcast episode, of course. But maybe you're wondering, where do I start with all of this? Go back, listen to those action steps that I just gave. Do what feels good to you. Try not to overwhelm yourself. Don't go from 0 to 60, right? I know most of you who are listening are type A, you're overachievers. I want to invite you to slow down, do less, start building these habits, okay? Every day, one step at a time. You can do it. I believe in you because I did it, okay? And I've helped many, many women do this. Now, if you are looking for support, obviously that's where I come in. That's where my team comes in. We understand how complex perimenopause is, and not just from a clinical perspective, but also from personal experience. I've been through it. Tanya, my team practitioner, is on the other side of it. She's menopausal at 49. I believe she's going to be 50 this year. We have helped countless women navigate this time in their lives, whether it's assessing your hormones, your thyroid function, your minerals, helping you optimize your diet, or suggesting the right supplements for your unique needs. We are equipped to guide you every step of the way. You do not have to do this alone. We are here to support you, but you have to be ready to create real change in your life. And unfortunately, not everybody is. But when it's the right time for you, please do reach out to us, okay? The Perimenopause method is open for January enrollment, and we would love to welcome you. So check out the link that's in the show notes so that you can get started. So to wrap it up, I want to remind you, depression and perimenopause is common, but that does not mean that it has to control your life. You do not just have to throw your hands up in the air and accept it. By addressing the underlying hormonal and nutrient imbalances, supporting your body, and working with experts, you can navigate this crucial time of life, but also transformative time of life, with more ease and with more grace. Okay. If you're ready to take the next steps, just reach out to us. We can bring you back to a place of balance, and dare I say, joy, because you deserve it. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I really hope this was helpful to you. Take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Hey, before you go, if you're ready to get educated, empowered, and feel your best in your peri years and beyond, grab my must-have guide for women 40 plus navigating hormone changes via the link in the show notes. You'll learn my top 5 strategic diet and lifestyle changes to make ASAP to support your declining hormones and get back your energy, improve your mood, and confidence. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.